Hello once again, our most developed student. My name is Confident and welcome to the second session of the grade 9 revision. And you guys, I gave you some homework to do, and this is a previous paper. I gave you a homework to go and try to look at these questions, question 4.4 and the mark allocations. So as you can see, this is starting from question 4.4. So in this session now, I'm going through 4.4.1, 4.4.2, 0.3 as well as 4.5. These are very important, meaning we are coming from this side. Alright, we're coming from question 4. So we've done question 4, and if you haven't watched question 4 or if you haven't done it, I'm been encouraging you to start there. So you see, there is a video that you missed if you're joining us for the first time. So we have done this, and that's why I say I gave you some work to go and look at question 4.4. So I hope you guys did what you're supposed to do, but let's start with the first one. 4.4.1, it says, remember, solve the following equations. So we're still, now these are equations. The previous one, it was the expressions, factorizing, simplifying, but here, what are we doing? We are solving for x, and an equation, guys, has got an equal sign. It means you need to solve for x. So let's start there. It says you're given 2, and then I've got x plus 2, alright, and then close bracket minus, and then I've got x minus 3 and equal to 5. So this is what I'm given here. Let me just confirm it. 2x plus 2 minus this. The good thing with solving equations is that you can always test your answer here. So you don't have to stress about that. So let's look at this. How do you solve for x here? If you're following up from the previous lessons that I did on equations, look at this. These two, the brackets here, see these brackets? It means these two will open them like that. You multiply by that, you multiply by that. This is called expansion, remember? Now, what can be a challenge will be this part here. You need to take note of this negative sign. You need to, I'll say NB, take note. Okay, let me write it on top here to say here NB, take note. Now, what does it actually mean? It means there is a hidden one also here. If I can put it, there is a hidden one, and that hidden one similarly is more like you're multiplying by minus 1 there and by minus 1 there. But the simple things here, you just interchange the signs. Okay, you interchange the signs, meaning if you are saying if it's just a negative, if it's positive here, it becomes negative. As you can see here, it's negative, it will become positive. That's what it simple means. Okay, let's do that. So what you're saying, 2 times x, we have 2x, 2 times 2, it's 4. Now as I say, just interchange the signs because it's more like you're saying minus 1 times x, you see, and minus 1 times minus 3. That is what you're doing, but in simpler way. You just interchange. If it's a negative 1, remember, because this 1 doesn't change anything, it only it doesn't affect the number, but the negative is the one that becomes affecting. There it becomes negative x, it was negative 3, it becomes positive 3. See, this is now equal to 5. What do you do from here? Now from here you collect like terms here. That's what we have to do. We collect what am I doing here? Collect like terms. And which ones are the terms? Look at it. I've got x, I've got x, they are like terms. So what I'm going to write, I'll say 2x minus x. I'm just bringing them together. But now the interesting one is the 5. See, the 5 is on the other side. It means the 4, because I'm collecting like terms, it will go this side. Now look, it is positive, it will jump this equal sign, it will become negative. Even the 3 will do the same. It will join 5 here. I want it like this. It will join 5 on the other side. What sign? It is positive, jump the equal sign, it becomes negative. So what am I going to have at the end of the day? I'm going to have something like this. 2x minus x is equal to, I have already 5 on my side, so you maintain the sign for 5, positive 4, we say it is negative 4, positive 3 is negative 3, like that. And then what is 2x minus x? Remember, when I say 2x minus x, it's same as saying, look at the numbers. It's more like I'm saying 2 minus 1. You see, 2 minus 1. Forget about the x. If you cancel and you cancel, what do you say? 2 minus 1. That's what you're looking at. What is 2 minus 1? It's what? It's 1. So here you will have 1x. See, you can even leave out this 1x is equal to, now 5 minus 4 minus 3. Now what is 5 minus 4? 5 minus 4 is 1. What is 1 minus 3? Is negative 2, but you need to be comfortable with it. Or you can say minus 4 minus 3. Two negatives, you add and return the sign. It's minus 7. So it's 5 minus 7, which is minus 2. So, or alternatively, take your calculator and you say 5 minus 4 minus 3. Don't stress out. Check your calculator. You say it's negative 2. So it means there is the answer. X, 1x is negative 2. Or you can just say x is equal to here minus 2. But now the important or the good thing about this kind of question is that you can test your answer. So what you do, I always say go back to the original. They told you what was x. X was negative 2. So here you know that x is minus 2. Even here it's minus 2. So you put a calculator there. See the answer that you get. Whatever you get must give us 5. So look at this, 2 bracket minus 2 plus 2, close the bracket, minus, and then minus 2. Remember, where there is x, I put minus 2, minus 3, close the bracket. What's the answer equal to? 5. So you see, here I get 5, on the other side is 5. So left hand side equal to the right hand side. It means my simplification here is correct. Are you with me? Alright, so let's take this out of the way and bring in for the new one. Let me throw it there. Look at this one. It says 4.4.2. It says also, remember, we are solving for x and this is 5 marks. 4 marks, that's good. 5 marks. Ensure you don't lose out on this 5 marks. And these are what? These are fractions. So what you have, you've got 2x over x plus 1 plus 2x over 1 minus x, see, is equal to 1 over x squared. This is x squared minus 1. Now listen guys, don't panic, don't switch on that panic button, because you know what, they just want to confuse you. It looks a bit complicated and like there's quite a lot of things here, but it's just a matter of trying to confuse you. Now why am I saying that? You need to study it carefully. What are you saying? The first thing is, I've got 2x here, I've got 2x, so it's the same. Alright, but let's look at the bottom. Sorry about that. Look at the denominators here. So this is x plus 1, but the other one is 1 minus x. It's the same variable and the number. The signs are the only ones different. So now this is the trick. Let me show you where they wanted to trick you. If I say to you, you have got let me say you have got let's use numbers. If I say 2 plus 5, what is 2 plus 5 same as? I can say 2 plus 5 is same as minus what can I say? Let me actually use this one. Let me say 2 minus 5. 2 minus 5 is equal to, you can test that with a calculator, but I can take out a negative and put what? A bracket, and say, remember, when I take out a negative, I can interchange the signs here. 2 can become negative 2. Negative 5 can become plus 5. This is the same. Check with the calculator. Look at this. 2 minus 5. What is it? It's negative 3. Then if I say minus bracket, then I put a bracket and interchange the signs. Negative 2 plus 5 to this is equal to negative 3. You see that I haven't changed anything. So the same thing, if I can make this one now x, where there is 2, I make it x. If I say x minus 5, it is the same as saying minus bracket, positive x become negative x, negative 5 become positive 5. Do you see the concept? What about these two? Like look at these two. I can do the same thing on the second one. If I say 1 minus x, what do you think it will become? I take out a negative and then put a bracket. Then the 1 which was positive becomes negative 1. The x which was negative becomes a positive x. Do you see what has happened there? And then this whole thing now can become minus. I start with x which is positive, so it's same as saying x minus 1. Now look at this and look at that. Look at that. So that is the way to write it. I thought it was going to be the same, but anyway, it's fine. This is the way to say it's x plus 1, and this side, don't let it become 1 minus x. Let it become x minus 1. Alright, why also am I doing that? Let's continue. You see, remember the part where we said x squared minus y squared in the previous lessons? We said this was a difference of two squares. Remember what you did? We opened two brackets here and we said what was the answer? You forget about these squares and what do you see? X minus y. See that? So you write here x minus y, and then what is the second bracket? You put a plus, x plus y. Remember that. Now if they give you x squared minus 1 equal to, is still the same difference of two squares. You open two brackets. Now you remind yourself 1 is same as 1 squared. You just put a square because 1 times 1 is simple 1. 1 is just a good number whereby it can become a cube, it can become a square. 1, you can do anything with 1. So here, if you close out on these squares, what do you see? X minus 1. That's the first part. So you write as your x minus 1, and the other one is x plus 1. Look at these. Look, I've got x plus 1. There it is. And then where is x minus 1? X minus 1, we did it there. So they always give you something that is intentional. So now let's take what I was showing you and bring it into our question now. Look at this. If I say here, let me just erase this part. I don't want to disturb that. So if I can continue now with this to say from 2x, it will be 2x over x plus 1. Now remember, it was plus 2x over, and I said you take out a negative. When you take out a negative, you interchange the signs. It was 1 minus x. What does it become? It becomes minus 1 plus x. They want to say that you understand what you're doing. Equal to 1 over difference of two squares. You open your two brackets here, and what we have? We have got x plus 1 and you've got x minus 1. You can start with the plus or with the minus, it's up to you. But usually I think it's better to start with the minus. It's usually x minus 1, x plus 1. But it's the same answer, guys. Now from here, I just want to show you this negative will affect the positive. Why? Because a negative has more power, or it automatically converts a what? A positive. If you say positive times a negative, you get a negative. Or if you have a positive and a negative together like this, you will get a negative. So here, positive and a negative are together. What you're going to have, you're going to have your 2x over x plus 1. From positive, it becomes now minus. That's where the whole trick was. 2x over, now remember I told you to start with x. It becomes what? X minus 1 is equal to 1 over x minus 1 and what? X plus 1. Are you with me there? That's the main thing. That's the whole thing. The whole question was just based on that. Then after that, it's a matter of doing what is called what? Fractions. Again, let me bring to you some knowledge of fractions. If I say to you, for example, 2 over 3 minus, let's say 1 over 4, for example. Now, how do you work on this? The easier way is to take 3, put brackets, take 4, put brackets. You do that. You roll over. I just took the 3 at the bottom. You see that? I just took this 3 and took this 4. This is that 3 and that 4. I just did that. You take it as is. From here, what do? You then come and take you are saying now this particular 3, let me do this. You are saying, let me make a, yeah, let's do that. You are going to say, since my 4 and my 3 and 4, we call this the common denominator. You start with your 3. So that particular 3, you will divide it down there to say 3. When you do that, what do you see? You are left with 4. So you are going to write, it's just that I need space here, like this. Remember, it's like this. Don't mix what I'm trying to do here. I will erase it. So when I cancel and cancel, I've got 4. That's the 4 you write there, right? And then it multiplies by the top, which is 2, and then you say minus. You go on and take now the 4. You write 3, you write 4, and then that particular 4 here, you put it under. It cancels, leaving you with 3. So you say minus 3, you take the top and 1. You see what is happening? That's what your symbol doing. So I can use the same concept here to say my common denominators is x plus 1, and you take the other one is x minus 1, and then I'm going to roll off. So what am I saying? I'm saying here I can take my x plus 1 and I can take my x minus 1. The first one is that one. Divide by that one, x plus 1. So when I cancel out, what do you see? X minus 1. So that's what I'm going to write. So on top here, I write x minus 1. So you write the opposite of what is not there, but put it in brackets. And then you multiply by the top, 2x. So it's not right. Remember, I was writing the 2, which was this one. I was writing the 1, which was this one. But it's not right to write 2 there. So what you can do, you can then write 2 before the bracket. It's more easier to multiply. So you write your 2x here, so that it will be easier to expand. And then after that, we've got the negative sign. You can automatically start with that 2x and say 2x. Now, which one is dividing? It's x minus 1. So I can come here and say it's no longer this one now. It's x minus 1. So you see, I'll be cancelling this one now. This x plus 1 will remain. So it's the opposite that will remain. It's x plus 1. If you look at the top, I had x plus 1, but I took x minus 1. I had x minus 1, but I took x plus 1. Do you see what's happening? So that is mainly what you will be doing whenever you are dealing with this kind of simplification of these fractions. Alright, so let me rewrite it. So what do I have? I've got 2x, x minus 1, minus 2x, x plus 1, over, I've got what? X plus 1, and I've got x minus 1, and then equal to. And I want to take this offside, because now remember, this is a fraction. It's not done here. Equal to what? 1 over x minus 1 and x plus 1. Are you with me? Then let's continue this thing. Now, open up this bracket. What do? Expand, like we did in the first. The 2x multiplies, the 2x multiplies. Even here, it's minus 2x though, and it's minus 2x. So let's multiply. What is 2x times x? It's 2x squared. Please, the x and the x become x squared. 2x times minus 1, the negative is powerful, it's negative 2x. Because 1 and 2, when you multiply, it remains as 2. Now again, minus 2x times x. Instead of saying 2x squared, now it's minus 2x squared. Then minus 2x times 1, the negative is powerful again, it's minus 2x. Then we are dividing by what? By x plus 1 and x minus 1. Here. Which is equal to what? 1 over x minus 1 and x plus 1. Alright guys, so we continue. At the top, we can do something at the top. We collect like terms here. Collect like terms. Collect like terms. Like terms, you collect them. So what do you have? Look at it. 2x squared, 2x squared. But don't forget the sign. So when I do that, it will be 2x squared minus 2x squared. It moves with the sign. And then the next one is that and that, minus 2x and minus 2x. Alright, so it's minus 2x and what? Minus 2x. Don't forget, divide by x plus 1 and x minus 1. Then is equal to 1 over x minus 1. And then what else? X plus 1. And then when you do that, we're just finishing here. Look at this. Not difficult. 2x squared, they're subtracting. So it's more like you're saying 2 minus 2. The x squared, forget about the x squared. Forget about the x squared. What are you saying? 2 minus 2. What is 2 minus 2? 2 minus 2 is 0. See? So what you do? Cancel and cancel. But don't say here the next one minus 2x is 0. No. Again, if the common one is like that, it's minus 2 minus 2. You can take a calculator. It will kind of give you an idea if you are confused. Minus 2, you add and maintain the sign. So it's minus 2 equal to what? Minus 4. You add, you maintain the sign. You see that? So what are you going to have? You're going to have what? Minus 4. So here I've got minus 4, but you retain your x over x plus 1 and what? X minus 1 is equal to 1 over x minus 1 and x plus 1. Now I'm going to show you something. If you have same things on the left hand side and the right hand side, what I mean, look at this, the denominators. This is the same and this is the same. You are allowed to cancel them like this. It's gonna fall out at the end. But the right procedure was this. This was the right procedure. You can choose to multiply by this, which is x minus 1 and x plus 1. See? But what you do on the left, you must do on the right. And also here, I will multiply by x minus 1 and x plus 1. See that? So when you're multiplying, look at it. This is where now x plus 1 cancels that, x minus 1 cancels that. See? So it's gone there. Even here, x minus 1 cancels that, x plus 1 cancels that. You see? That is what is actually happening. So what you're going to have, you are going to have minus 4x over 1, because when you cancel this 1 here, it's 1, is equal to 1 over 1. Simple things is the 1 doesn't affect anything. 1 into 4x minus 4x is just minus 4x. So you've got minus 4x is equal to 1 divided by 1 is 1. But is this n? No. How do you get x now? What do you think? Look, it's same as saying minus 4 multiplied by x is equal to 1. Your aim is to get rid of that minus 4. That's why multiplication, the opposite is division. So we divide by minus 4. Divide by minus 4. Why? Because that's what I don't want. I want to remain with x. So my x there is, the divide there is minus 1 over 4. You can check with your calculator there. That's it. That's the answer. X is equal to minus 1 over 4. So that is what was needed here. X is equal to minus 1 over 4. Here, x is equal to minus 1 over 4. But now, how do you prove it? You prove it like this. This is what you do. You take your calculator. It's very important to prove it, because you want to see whether you made the right calculation. So where there is x, you do it like this. 2, where there is x, you put times negative 1 over 4. It was 2x here. Then over x plus 1. So it's minus 1 over 4 plus 1. You see what I'm doing? Plus 2x again. It's 2x means times negative 1 over 4. See that? Over 1 minus, but you see there is this minus and there is minus 1 over 4 of my answer. It says this must be equal to 1 over, now x squared, put a bracket and say minus 1 over 4 squared. You see how we do it? If you don't do it right, you get it wrong. Minus 1. If you just write it like this, minus 1 over 4 squared, this is wrong. You must put a bracket. It's even much better to say go and put all brackets here. put brackets like this when you substitute. Put brackets like this. That's the most proper way, because you will ensure that you don't make errors. So now let's do this. Let's see our left hand side. So you start with the left hand side. So you say 2 times negative, remember I said you put brackets here. It's negative 1/4. Are you with me? And then over bracket negative 1/4. We close that bracket, and then it says what? Plus 1. Alright, and then plus, again you do the same thing. You say 2 times, open a bracket, negative 1/4. Okay, and then over, you have got 1 minus bracket negative 1/4. I'm just substituting as is. Then it says equal to, then I must have my equal sign. It says I'm getting negative 16/15. It's negative 16/15. Now that's my left hand side. Let's go to the right hand side. Equal to, do the same thing. Have your calculator ready, and then work out the next one. Sorry about that, they've got 2 calculators there. Look, it's 1 over, and then again I put my bracket, negative 1/4, and this one is squared minus 1. Let's simplify that. Equal to negative 16/15. It's negative 16/15. So this is my right hand side. Now look at this. The left hand side is equal to the right hand side. It means this answer, this one, you are definitely correct. You see, you mark yourself. You are the teacher at the same time. So you can come here without any problem. I'll tell you you are correct. Why? Because you tested it. Alright, so that was that. Let's look at the other question here. I still need some space though, but it's just full. But let's look at this. Let's say I just take a bit of space here and chuck this thing up instead, just creating some space. Look at this. It says here 10 to the power of x is equal to 0,00. How many zeros? 3 of them. So let me write it as you see it. It says 10. I want not red, but let me use something different. It says 10 to the exponent x is equal to what? Is equal to 0,3 zeros and 1. Then it says, so for x, how many marks? I think this was 2 marks. It's not difficult. But look, you need to be strategic here. Don't fall for the trap. Don't fall for the trap. What you need to do, you're like, okay, I've got 10x is equal to, but what is this? You take a calculator, but before you use a calculator, I can encourage you or show you how. Look at this. What is 0,001? You're like, okay, 0,1. For example, 0,1 is same as saying 1 over, since it's 1 0, it's 1 over 10, you see? And then 0,01. You're like 2 zeros, I mean 2 decimal places, so it's 1 over 0,1. There are 2 decimal places here. There is 1 and 2, so that's why it's 100. And then you continue 0,1, 2, and that. You see how many decimals after the comma? See, you've got 1, 2, 3. Then your answer becomes 1 over 1,000. And then which means this one, which was 0,1, 2, 3, 4. Then it becomes 1 over 10,000. See this? That's what it simple means. Are you with me? So we can work on that to say this is same as 1 over 10,000. And then you remind yourself 10 to the power of x is equal to 10,000. At the bottom here is 10 to the power of what? How many zeros do you see? Is 10 to the power of 4. Why? 10 is 10 to the power of 1. 100 is 10 to the power of 2. 10,000, how many zeros? Is 10 to the power of 4 zeros. That's why I'm doing that. Then 10 to the power of x. Using the laws of exponents, I want to take this bottom to the top. You introduce a negative, which is 10 to the power of negative 4. From positive 4, if you take it on top, it becomes negative 4. Then when these are the same, you use that law of exponent which says a to the power of m is equal to a to the power of n. Same base, therefore m is equal to n. Remember the law of exponents. So even here, same base, therefore x is equal to -4. Was there a quicker way for the 2 marks? I say yes. There was a quicker way. Let's take this away. There was a quicker way for the 2 marks. What could we have done? We come here with the calculator and say 10 to the power of x is equal to 0,0001. Let's use the calculator now. 10 to the power of x is equal to, if I was using directly the calculator, how was this going to be much easier? Look at this. I say 0,1231 equal to that. If I say st, you see, I press st, look, 1 times 10 to the power, what? -4. So I'll write that as 1 times 10 to the power -4. But remember, 1 does not change anything. 1 is just 1. If I multiply 1 times 10 to the power -4 is 1 times 10 to the power -4. I can even come here and say this is same as 1 times 10 to the power x. So even here you can ignore this 1 and say 10 to the power of x is equal to 10 to the power -4. Use that concept, same base, therefore x is equal to -4. Then that was going to be correct. Alright, so the last one here, it says what? This is the last one. Let's look at this. It says the sum of 3 consecutive even numbers is 78. Determine the 3 numbers. The sum. Alright, let's look at this again. I just want to clear the same space here, because this was not complicated, okay, let me just delete this. This was not complicated. Trust me, this was not complicated. It says the sum of what? Of 3 consecutive. So first thing is 3. So sum means what? The word sum means plus. Let's choose randomly 3 numbers. Okay, but those 3 numbers, look at this. Let me actually do this properly. The sum means plus of 3. We're gonna look for 3 numbers. They're saying they're consecutive. I'll tell you about that. Even means they need to be divided by 2. Is what? 78. So let's look at consecutive even numbers, just random. I can say 18 is a number that can be divided by 2, right? So the next consecutive number is what? So let's count 18, 19. Let's say I just chose 18 as a start. 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. So what do they mean by consecutive numbers? Look, 18 is the first even number. 19 is odd. From 18, where do I get? I get to 20. 21 is not even number. From 21, where do I get to 22? So the consecutive numbers here, it will be 18, 20, 22. You see that? So if they say the sum, it means I must add them. Are you with me? So now, it's funny when I'm adding these numbers already. What is 20 plus 22? Let's add these numbers. This was a guesswork, but it's working out funny. 18 plus 20 plus 22. Oh, this one is 60. I thought it was already giving me 78, you know. So they are saying though, when you add those numbers here, you must get what? 78. But of course, this is not the answer, because I'm trying to show you how. But as here, it was going to say the sum of 3 consecutive numbers is equal to 60. Then determine those numbers. We will know that the answers will be 18, 20 plus 22. But there is a hint. Look at the hint. How do I go about? From 18 to 20, what do you say? Plus 2. From 20 to 22, what do you say? Plus 2. Let's say I didn't know this particular 18. In me, that 18 is the number I don't know, which is x. So I'm going to say x, you see there is plus 2. So the first number, let's start with this. The first number is going to be what? Be x. And then what is the second number going to be? The second number is going to be what? 18. It's not 18, sorry. The second number, if 18 there was, I said let 18 be x. So what is the second number going to be? It's going to be what? Take that 18, which is my x, plus 2. You see, I'll get that number. What about How do I get 22? You take that number, which is x plus 2, which was 20, is now x plus 2. You add another 2, then you'll get that number. This, when you add it, it says it must give me 78. Are you seeing that? So the first number is x, the second number is x plus 2, the third number is x plus 2 plus 2. I can show you the same thing here. The first number was 18, here it was 18 plus 2, and here it was 18 plus 2 plus 2. See, 18 became x, so here I put my x, I put my x, I put my x. You see, so it's x, 18, x plus 2, 18 plus 2 is 20, 18 plus 2 plus 2 is 22. So you see what I was hinting at. Then when you add this is where the whole thing was. They wanted you to come up with that. And then you bring it all together. When you're adding it, what do you see? What is x plus x plus x? It's 3x. And then the numbers 2 plus 2 plus 2. It's 2 plus 2, 4, 4 plus 2 plus 6, you see, is equal to 78. That is all that was actually this question was about. It was for you to come up with this equation. And then from there, that is done. 3x, take 6 is positive, jumps from positive to negative. So you've got 3x is equal to 78 minus 6. And then 3x is equal to 78 minus 6 is 72. From here, you are left with what is 3x, 3 times x. The opposite of 3 times x, divide by what you don't want. You don't want this 3 here. But what you do on the left, you do on the right. So what is my x? X is 72 divided by 3. I think it's 3 into this, it's 6 is 2. And then carry 1, 3 into that, I think it's 24. But let's check with the calculator. Always check with the calculator. 72 divided by 3 equal to this 24. And now look, this means instead of 18 now, my beginning is 24. You see now, it's no longer 18. So the question was determine the what? The 3 numbers. So those 3 numbers, the first number, my x now, was 24. What will be the second number? It's plus 2. It's what? Consecutive even numbers. So it's not 25, but it's 26. It's not 27, but it's 28. These are the 3 numbers. So if they ask you, determine the 3 numbers. The 3 numbers are 24, 26, and 28. But you have to test it. Of course, add these 3 numbers and see that what you get. Let's add it. 24 plus 26 plus 28. I must get 78. There it is. Alright. So my good children, my good children, I like referring you as my children because I feel I have to impart or give you this so that you can get that distinction. So listen, my child, this is not difficult. You just need practice. If you get enough practice, you will be able to get that distinction. Believe me, you. Alright. So what are we going to do? I'm going to look at the next paper. Here, question 5 is also part of your exam. If I'm looking for June, I think I'll look at question 5. And then I think I will do also this question 5.3 of the graph. Yes, I will show you this in brief. Sometimes it might not be covered in your exam. And then I'll also see about this one. I'll just see your syllabus if ever it covers this, and then I'll work it out for you. Alright, so it's very important. And then also, you guys tell me, did you do anything on geometry? If you did, just shout out and say yes, we did it, so that I can also look at question number 6, because this is for June. You might not have covered this, and if you haven't covered this, I'll be then doing it for those who will be preparing for their November exam. So I don't want to give you something that is irrelevant at this stage. But what I'm going to do, again, I'm going to bring in the question that has got algebra and patterns. Alright, but tell me the other topics that you did so that I can be able to assist you. We've come to the end of our lesson. This was informative, and if you guys benefited from here, give me a shout. Don't forget, it's important that you are subscribed. If you subscribe to this channel, it becomes easy for you to follow up every time I'm posting a new video. make sure that you share it also with your friends. Remember, don't sell fish. Don't be selfish. Don't sell fish, because if you sell fish and they don't buy those fish, fish, they stink. So what does it mean? Being selfish makes you stink. So share that channel so that you can also benefit with the rest of them. Sharing is caring at the end of the day. Okay, my child? So we've come to the end of our lesson. See you again in the next session. Don't miss out. Whenever you have subscribed, YouTube sends you a notification when I'm posting some new videos. Thank you.